this will be just a repeat of what we had done in continuous time, but it's replaced by discrete time. So in case of discrete time signals, what we have is, discrete time Fourier series. So compared to the continuous time, which in that case we had continuous time Fourier series. Now when we have discrete signals, we will have the concept of discrete time Fourier series. And similarly, in case of in case of continuous time, when we had aperiodic signals and we were taking continuous time Fourier transform in that case. So similarly here in this situation, when we have discrete time signals and which are aperiodic, we will have discrete time Fourier transform. So these are the subtle differences that in terms of the nomenclature is concerned. As far as nomenclature is concerned, so it will be like, DTFS, that is represent DT discrete time Fourier series, and then we have discrete time Fourier transform. So consider a discrete time signal. Consider a discrete time signal x tilde t. So note that we are using this convention of tilde since the very beginning when we started out with Fourier series to represent that the signal x is basically periodic. So here the discrete time signal x tilde t is periodic, and that is with a period of n. So we are considering a signal discrete time signal x tilde t which is periodic with a period of n samples, which in turn mathematically represents that your x tilde n is nothing but it is equal to x tilde n plus n for all n. So basically this is nothing but a periodicity property that we are employing here for the discrete time signals. And we know that, a signal is period with a capital N period if this satisfies. So now, as in case of continuous time signals, we are trying to explore the same thing in case of discrete time, and the exploration is in the form that whether is it able to, whether we can, convert this, or whether we can decompose this signal, or whether we can make a linear combination of this signal in terms of the simple basis functions. If you recall, in our case of continuous time systems, we started out with our discussion by representing a continuous time signal xt with a very simple approximation, that is only single sine wave, and then we moved to multiple sine waves of different frequency, and we saw how, incorporating more and more number of sine waves with different frequency, we were able to, approximate the original signal xt with the x hat t. So in the same way, we are trying to find out the basis function, which actually when you add together will result in your original signal x tilde n here, because this is the discrete time sequence. So now what is our objective? Our objective is to explore the possibility of writing x tilde n as linear combination of complex exponential basis functions. So we are now actually focusing mainly on the exponential Fourier series in case of discrete time Fourier transform. We are not going into the other three representations which were discussed earlier in case of continuous time. So here, if you observe, the main target is to represent our x tilde t as a linear combination of the basis functions, and the basis functions are basically represented here with this notation, and here we have e j omega n n. And note that this particular omega n, this particular frequency which we have here, right, this particular one is basically a discrete time frequency, and it's not a continuous time frequency. This is the first difference, and now we have n here instead of t. So now what we are trying to do is we are actually trying to represent a discrete time sequence in terms of exponential basis function, and the difference between this particular basis and that of the continuous time is that in the continuous time we had omega here, which is continuous, but here discrete value is there, which has a specific value, and it will not be, you know, all the values. It will be specific for specific interval. It will be there. Sorry, for a discrete time it will be available, and it is not in between. So this is a discrete time, basically, you know, frequency. And then you have a n, which is a index as compared to the t, which is continuous. So this is basically the basis, and we are trying to, you know, see whether we can, you know, form a linear combination of these bases to form the original signal x tilde t. So in turn, mathematically, what we are trying to find out is that whether we can find x tilde n by summing up the case. And by summing up the case means, you know, you want to, you know, find out the linear combinations of this ck, linear combinations of this complex exponentials ej omega n. So these are the linear combination weights. Like, you know, you will have these weights which are actually properly weighting this exponential basis function, and once you add all these weights together, which is actually summing up. So once you add these two together, then you will get the original signal x tilde n, which is actually periodic signal. So in order to you know work around with this problem, we have two questions to be answered. As it was in the case of continuous time, same is there in the case of discrete time, but with the subtle differences. So the differences are like, you know, the first question that we want to answer is, that is, how should the angular frequency, which is the discrete one, sigma k, be chosen? That is one of the most important questions that we have to answer. And the second important question is like, how many basis functions are needed? If you recall that this particular answer is, you know, we try to answer in continuous time signals also, and the same thing we have to answer here, that how many basis functions are to be added, that is, you know, this summation sign, that is how many k's are needed in order to reconstruct the signal. That is the second question, which is similar to that of the continuous time. And the first question is a little bit different, where we never answered it in case of continuous time, but now we have to answer it in case of discrete time, because discrete time signals, you know that it will be available at discrete time and not available on all the instant of time. That is why this question was of no relevance in case of continuous time. Here in case of discrete time, we have to answer this because discrete time sequence will be available at discrete samples. So we have to answer that how should the angular frequency sigma k has to be chosen, so that, it will be justified as far as discrete time signals are concerned. So to answer these two questions, what we will do is we will answer them one by one. So the first question that we want to answer is, how should the angular frequency sigma k n has to be chosen? So if you recall that what we are doing is, this is basically a periodic function. So what we have is, this particular basis function that we have, we have a periodicity in this basis function, and the periodicity of this basis function is that, if you use this relation, then you can see that the periodicity is there. So this particular by using this particular property, what you have is, this particular property is basically based on this. So we are saying that this is periodic with period of n, that is capital N. So now what we do is we are substituting this particular basis function here. So when we substitute this basis function here, so it will be like this. So once you have this particular thing, this side, so what you can say is, if it is periodic, like, if this particular basis functions are periodic, then the only way we can make this periodic is basically, by using omega n as 2 pi k. This is the only way we can make these basis functions periodic. If you recall that in our case of sine and cosine also, we selected that signals because they were periodic. So here also we want to in order to enforce that these exponential basis functions are periodic, then the condition that we are trying to meet here is that your sigma kn has to be equal to the 2 pi multiples of this, is k times the 2 pi, this thing. So once you have this, from here what you can get is you can get the value of sigma k, and the value of sigma k is nothing but 2 pi by n times k. This is the value of sigma k that you will obtain for for this particular condition that you are trying to apply here. So once you have this, what you can do is you can actually, now you actually get the value of sigma k, or sorry, not omega k, at discrete time intervals, and these are the frequencies which are actually allowed. You cannot take all the frequencies, only selective frequencies are to be taken, and that are actually nothing but this particular thing. So now what you can do, you can actually substitute these frequencies which are allowed into this discrete time, into this expression which is here. So if I do that, then what will I get? I will get that x tilde n as summation k, then you have ck e j. Instead of using this particular omega k, I am using the selective ones. So I will write like this. So this is the expression that you will get when you substitute the allowable discrete time frequencies into the main expression which is given over here. So this is the first question that we have answered, like what kind of discrete frequencies which are allowed. So once we are getting this expression, we substituted it here, and then we have this. So what happens is now, what the second important question that we have to answer is that how many such k's are actually allowed. So how many k's are actually allowed? So whether it is running from 0 to infinity or what. So in order to basically see that how many such k's are allowed, what we do is we are again invoking that property that you have 5k plus n with, if you see this particular thing, then what will be this? It will be e to the power j 2 pi by capital N, and then what you are doing is you are actually writing k plus capital N here, and then this is the thing. So what you are observing is, what we are doing is basically we are actually seeing what is the value of k plus n in case of in this basis function. So we are actually substituting this k plus n here. So now if you expand this, what you will get is j 2 pi by n kn, and then you have ej 2 pi n. So this is actually 1. So what you get at the end is ej 2 pi capital N kn. So what you observe from here is, the important thing is this is equal to nothing but 5kn. So what you observe is that this particular basis function is periodic actually, with a period of capital N. So if this is periodic with a period of capital N, then we do not need to sum k to any infinite value or any number, but it has to be summed up for one period. So basically it has to be summed up for n such samples, because it's periodic with period n, and it will repeat actually. So if you have these discrete time coefficients like this, discrete time Fourier series like this, so it will actually repeat after period n. So it will again repeat. So there is no point in working around with all the points that are there. The only thing is we have to consider only one period of time in order to evaluate this particular discrete time Fourier series. So that's why now, instead of running from 0 to infinity as it was in the case of continuous time, here we will be running for one period of time, which is k running from 0 to n minus 1. So this is basically the summation that is done in case of discrete time sequences, and then you have ck e to the power j 2 pi capital N kn. So this is basically the final expression for the discrete time Fourier series, where you have x tilde 10, which you can recover from the exponential discrete time sequences using this particular formula, which is this. this is basically the final expression for your discrete time Fourier series. So now we have this thing. So now the important thing is let's solve some questions on this, so that to gain some confidence in how to evaluate these expressions. So the very first and a simple question that I will give it to you to answer is like, can you calculate the discrete time Fourier series coefficients, for the signal x tilde n, which is equal to cos of 0.2 pi n. So this is a discrete time signal. I want to know the discrete time Fourier series coefficients, which are actually the ck's. And note that I have not given you the expression for ck right now, so you cannot use that. So without using the expression of ck, which I have not discussed till now, you have to use this particular thing to get to let me know that what will be the value of ck for this particular signal cos of 0.2 pi n. So I'll give you a few minutes to solve this, and then we will discuss this particular thing. Anyone has solved this? Okay, so what I'll do is I will solve it. So
Sir, sec is equal to 1.
no, it's not the answer. Okay, so what is the time period? Can anyone tell time period for this particular sequence?
10.
Yes, so time period for this is 10. It's very easy to solve because we did some sort of similar exercise during the discussion on periodicity. So it's nothing but you are using 2 pi by this 0.2 pi, and then is a factor m here, and we are trying to make this integer. So for m equal to 1, we are easily getting the answer as 10. So the time period for this particular sequence is 10 actually. So now what you will do is, it's very easy. You have to just expand this in terms of the Euler form. Why we are saying in terms of Euler form? Because you can see there is a slight correlation with exponentials, and the Euler also has some exponential thing. So what we can do is we can expand it in terms of the Euler form, which is e to the power j theta plus e to the power minus j theta divided by 2 in case of cos theta. So same we are trying to do here. So what we will do is we will expand it. So it will be 1 by 2 e to the power j 0.2 pi n plus 1 by 2 e to the power minus j 0.2 pi n. And you can write it in another way also. That is e j 2 pi n divided by capital N. So it will stand here. Then you have 1 by 2 e to the power minus j 2 pi over capital 10 N. And why we are writing it like this? Because in this particular expression here, in the denominator we have capital N, and in our case capital N is 10. So we want something to be in the denominator which is looking like 10, so we did it like this. Both the expressions are same. So if you compare this expression, which is here, with the expression that you have, this one, that is k running from 0 to capital N minus 1 ck e to the power j 2 pi by capital N kn. If you compare it with this expression, so what is the value of k here? Can anyone tell? What will be the value of k?
0 to
1.
No, the k
1.
value will be 1 here, because if you compare this particular thing with this particular thing, the only way both of them are equal is that is at k equal to 1. So this is quite obvious that if this is particularly for k equal to 1, these coefficients that is attached with this particular exponential is also for k equal to 1, so it is c1 actually. So this is particularly c1, and here if you see, for this particular exponential, the value is basically for k equal to minus 1. So for k equal to minus 1 means the coefficient which is attached to it is again equal to c of minus 1. So from here what you can see is, it's very easy, that is c1 is actually nothing but 1 by 2, and c minus 1 is also equal to 1 by 2. So we have these two coefficients that for this particular cosine function, which we are calling as discrete time Fourier coefficients C1 and C minus 1. Again, if you note that we enforced the property of periodicity on the basis functions, which was like this. If you recall, then we enforced this property on the basis function. So if you recall that we have started out with this discussion, so here what we observe is, that basically at index of -1, what you have is, this is actually equal to, the period that you have here is capital N. So capital N is 10, and then your N is -1. So basically, here it's periodic with period of, it's not periodic, the value of -1 is same as the value at 9. So what you can say is, C1 is 1 by 2, C minus 1 is also 1 by 2, but at the same time the value of C9 will also be 1 by 2. Both of them will be having same value because of the periodicity. So if you see this in terms of the spectral plot, then what you have is, at 1 you have 1 by 2, and at ninth position also you have 1 by 2, and this keeps on repeating after 10 interval of period of time. So it will again repeat. So this is basically the spectrum CK coefficients, spectrum of the coefficient CK. So I have similar question for you to solve, that is, if you have x tilde n as 1 plus cos of 0.2 pi n plus 2 sine of 0.3 pi n, then you let me know what is the coefficients of this particular sequence, that is this particular discrete time sequence. I'll give you a few minutes to solve this particular example, and let me know the coefficients for this particular signal. Yes, yes.
Sir, I have got the expression of x of n.
Okay, so can you tell me the coefficients, like what are the values of the coefficients and at what index they are?
Sir, actually there are two time periods, right? So, sir, I am having a hard time to determine for each of them we have to take a different k, or we have to
No,
combine
no,
them.
no. You have to find a single time period for these two, and then using that single time period, you have to find out the combined expression. Like, you don't have to do it separately. The capital N, what is the value of capital N here?
Sir, in one, like for cos wala function it's 10,
Okay,
and for sine wala function is 20.
okay. So what is the combined for the
Uh,
combined thing? 20, right? For the
yes.
combined thing, when you are combining the whole signal, because some way or the other you are not having, these separates, you have to combine them, and final signal will be something like this, which is a linear combination of these three signals. Okay, so the complete time period for that is actually 20. So based on this 20, you have to find out the exponential Fourier series, that is the discrete time one, using this capital N equal to 20. Understood? So let me solve it for you people. I think it will be difficult for you again. So the thing is, as you know, the combined time period is. Can you mute your mic? So the combined time period is actually n equal to 20. So what we do is now, it's very easy, right? We have to again represent the cos and sine using the Euler expression. And in that expression, what we can do is we can write 1 plus e to the power j 2 pi by 10, and then you have, n here. But the thing is, as I told you, the complete time period is 20. So what we do is we do a trick here, and the trick is that, we make this denominator 20 and we multiply it by 2 also. And the only sole reason for doing this trick is to make capital N equal to the combined time period, which we are getting as 20. So we kept 20 here and multiplied by 2, and the end result is same. And similarly, we can do it for the other part, which is e to the power minus j 2 pi by 20 to n and divided by 2. And now if you do it with the sine series, you know sine has a 2j in the denominator, so 2 by 2 cancels, so you will have 1 by j here. It is 1 by j, and then you have two exponentials. The first exponential will be j 2 pi by 20, and then you have 3 here, and minus e to the power minus j 2 pi by 20, and then you have 3 here again. So you note here that this expression, the one which is on the this particular thing in this particular expression here, are same. The only difference is we try to make it look equivalent to the discrete time Fourier series expression, where capital N actually denotes the time period, and here we have 20. So this is the expression that you get by just simple manipulation. So now what you can do is, it's very easy. Now you can write it separate for both the cases. So here you have this, then you have this, here you have 2 pi by 33 and 1 by j, and then you have minus 1 by j e to the power minus j 2 pi by 20 times 3n. So these are the final things, and here you can note that this corresponds to actually C0, this corresponds to actually C2, this one, because you have an index k which is 2 here, that is why it is C2. This corresponds to index C minus 2, and this corresponds to the index C3, and this corresponds to the index C minus 3. Now you have this. Now earlier I made a mistake. You note here that this is not right. It has to be uh, it has to be k plus capital N of n. So now when you do this, then it will be phi of minus 1 of n is same as phi of minus 1 plus 10 of n, which is nothing but phi of 9 of n. So that's why the minus 1th, the coefficient at minus 1th location of k is same as the coefficient of 9. So that's why it is C9 here. So now in the same way, we can actually convert these negative coefficients into the positive coefficients. So how we can do that? You know that phi of k of n is same as phi of k plus capital N of n. So you know that minus 2 is here, and you know that the periodicity of this particular complete signal is 20. So you can put it here, and what you get is phi of 18. So basically the coefficient at minus 2 is equivalent to the coefficient at 18th location. So this actually can be replaced by C of 18 also. Similarly, in this particular situation where we have this, here you can see C of minus 3 is nothing but you can write it as this phi minus 3 of n, which is nothing but phi of minus 3 plus 20 of n, and that comes out to be 70. So C of minus 3 is nothing but C of 70. So if you want to plot these spectrums, then what you have is at 0th location you have a value, and the value is 1. At 1th location, at index 1 index, you have nothing. At second index you have value of 0.5, which is here, and at 18th location you have a value of, again the value will be 0.5. It is again 0.5, At 17th location, you have the value as minus 1 by j, which is value of 1. So these are the coefficients that you have, and at third location also you have plus 1 by j, which is again 1. So at third location also you have this. And note that this is actually nothing but modulus of ck tilde. So you have these coefficients value at, when you index it at the kth location for these coefficients. And the phase plot will be nothing but, it's very easy that at 17th location you have a plus pi by 2, and at third location you have minus pi by 2. So this is basically the angle information for these coefficients. So this actually gives you a quick glimpse on how we can solve these problems which have, cos terms, sin terms, and you observe that there is no point in, calculating the coefficient ck, as we can directly see it by representing the cos and sin in terms of the exponentials, and whatever coefficients that are multiplied with that exponentials are actually the coefficients ck for this particular expression. But in the next lecture, what we will discuss is, we will discuss how to calculate these coefficients ck, and then that will be actually applicable to all kinds of signals which we will encounter other than that of the cosine signal. So that we will discuss in the next class, that is how to derive these coefficients ck. So let me take your attendance now, just to,
Sir,
yes,
sir, I have one doubt.
yes, yeah, please tell.
Sir, actually, the Euler form you replace with the sine term.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, in that you have written e power minus j 2 pi 3n by 20.
Just a second. 2 pi. Where I have written this one? Yeah, yeah.
Sir, 1 upon j. Sir, why is there a 3 there?
3 is because, you see this expression here. If you reduce it, what will be the value? If you reduce it, just a second. So what happens is, you have 2 pi by 20, and then you have 3 here, right? So you divide it. What will be the answer? It will be 0.3 pi n, right? So what we are trying to do is, we are actually trying to write in this fashion, which is over here. And the important thing is, if you recall our expressions for the discrete time Fourier series here, you can see the way it is represented. In the denominator we have some capital N, which is the time period of this particular signal x tilde n, and we found out that this particular x tilde n has a time period of 20. So 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 we have to actually represent in terms of, in this way. So that's why we kept 20 here in the denominator. And then, but the important thing is, if you keep 20 here, then you have to, write 3 here in order to come up with this expression, which is this. Okay.